High Court, District Court, Magistrates Court, Special Courts and Tribunals. Elections in Hong Kong take place when certain political offices in the government need to be filled. Every 4 years, half of the unicameral Legislative Council of Hong Kong's 70 seats representing the geographical constituencies are returned by the electorate. The other 35 seats representing the functional constituencies are elected through smaller, closed elections within business sectors. Hong Kong has a multi-party system, with numerous parties in which not one party often has the chance of gaining power alone. The chief executive of Hong Kong is non-partisan, but has to work with several parties to form a coalition government. Any Hong Kong permanent resident aged 18 or above may register as an elector in the geographical constituency in which they reside, except those mentally incapacitated and those serving in an armed force. Persons serving a sentence of imprisonment used to be barred from registering and voting. But a 2008 judgment by the Court of First Instance of the High Court ruled that a blanket bar was unconstitutional and that the government had a year to change the offending provisions. The government did not appeal the judgment, and held consultations with the public on how the law should be changed. A bill was then introduced to the LegCo, providing that no person would be barred from electoral registration or voting because of criminal conviction, even for crimes against the electoral system. It became law and entered into force on the 30th of October 2009. From late 2003 on, the government and the public have been drawing out plans of democratization with the ultimate aim of electing a chief executive by universal suffrage after nomination by an ad hoc committee and electing the whole Legislative Council by universal suffrage. In late 2007, the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress decided that the former can be achieved in 2017 or later, and the latter can be achieved after the former has been. Article 45 gives the requirements for choosing the chief executive, and Annex I does likewise in a more specific manner. Quote, "The chief executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region shall be selected by election or through consultations held locally and be appointed by the Central People's Government. The method for selecting the chief executive shall be specified in the light of the actual situation in the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region and in accordance with the principle of gradual and orderly progress. The ultimate aim is the selection of the chief executive by universal suffrage upon nomination by a broadly representative nominating committee in accordance with democratic procedures. The specific method for selecting the chief executive is prescribed in Basic Law Annex I. Method for the selection of the chief executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region. The election committee shall be composed of 1,200 members from the following sectors. According to Article 46 of the Hong Kong Basic Law, elections for the chief executive are held every 5 years. An 800-member electoral college called the election committee is elected by businessmen and professionals, and some other sectors of the society, with each of the 28 sectors of the economy receiving a set number of electoral votes. The eligible voters in each sector vote directly for the electors, who in turn cast ballots for chief executive, pursuant to the Annex II of the Basic Law. The election committee also selected 10 members of the first LegCo by block vote in 1998. 4 of the seats were reassigned to geographical constituencies for the second LegCo in 2000, and the remainder for the third LegCo in 2004. The Hague elections are quite irregular. They were held in 1998 and 2000, but none have been held since. The claim in An. 1. Sect. 2. Of the Basic Law, saying that the election committee must be renewed at least once every 5 years. Article 46 was a subject of controversy regarding the term of the newly elected chief executive. The article states, "The term of office of the chief executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region shall be 5 years. He or she may serve for not more than 2 consecutive terms. The law requires a term of 5 years. But mainland officials have said the new leader filling in can only serve until 2007. The matter was settled after a reinterpretation by the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress. though this did damage the credibility and integrity of the one country, two systems formula. A literal interpretation would mean Sang has to serve until 2010. But this is not common sense behavior in most other nations. One can only complete the term of a predecessor. The Chinese government has decided that the new leader would serve until Inauguration Day in 2007. The last was held in 2002. And with the resignation of Tang Chi-hwa, an election would have been